We've seriously covered a lot now when it comes to our Terraria max setup series, including the utterly ridiculous max melee speed build, a maximum knockback, maximum crit, and of course one of our wildest new additions, maximum movement speed. Today, we're going to be looking at the last in the main class setup bunch, none other than maximum summoner damage. What makes this one so interesting is the way the summoner class operates in such drastically different ways to the other classes, with both whips and summons dealing damage. So the question is, how does it hold up compared to the other max class setups? Before we jump into it though, here's something crazy. Did you know that around 82% of you beautiful people aren't actually subbed to the channel? So if you've enjoyed this series so far, why not let YouTube know, as it really helps out. Righto, let's kick things off. Now, before we truly stick our teeth into this, it's worth giving a bit more context around what we're trying to achieve. Basically, like any other weapon class, we can benefit from percentage damage increases, both universally and class exclusively, so this will be our primary focus. However, with the way some summons work, things aren't always as simple. Let me explain. You see, when it comes to armor, there are two main options you have for maximizing damage, either the Stardust Helmet, Valhalla Knight's Breastplate, and Red Riding Leggings for the highest percentage damage increase, or the more tactical approach of just sticking to the full base Stardust armor set, which although does offer slightly less in the way of percentage damage, technically makes up for this in summoner slots, especially when using summons like the Stardust Dragon Staff, which scales its stats per slot instead of its amount. Interesting stuff. But I mean, if you really want to go the purest route for damage on individual summons if you aren't using a scaling one, both other armor pieces can be purchased from your tavern keep, and of course the Stardust set can be crafted with Stardust Fragments and Luminite Bars as an ancient manipulator. Now then, assuming we do take the full Stardust route, this already gives you an awesome 66% increased damage output, as well as 5+ slots at your disposal, which really does get this build off to a good start. But of course, we can make it even better with this delightful assortment of accessories, basically including the typical emblem damage buffs, as well as the trio of summoner exclusives on top. When it comes to the emblems, it's pretty straightforward. However, with the Papyrus Scarab, Hercules Beetle, and Necromantic Scroll, you may have to go out your way a bit more, with the Beetle being purchased from your Witch Doctor while in the jungle, and the Scroll being from Pumpkin Moons. Once you've got everything crafted and equipped, while this does give us an incredible additional 67% damage in 2 summon slots, we can increase damage even further by reforging all your accessories to Menacing and all your summoner-related weapons to Ruthless for a bunch more damage output. Now, this may seem like we're reaching the absolute top with our 128 damage Stardust Dragon, obliterating high HP enemies in mere seconds. However, don't forget to drink a Wrath Potion exquisitely stuffed buff for even more damage, and even more importantly, a Summoner Potion and Bewitching Table passive for an additional 2 summoner slots, allowing even more damage output for the already overpowered Stardust Dragon. It's just a win-win. This combined with the buffs given from a submerged cute fish run makes you from a damage perspective pretty much unstoppable, being able to take out a ton of bosses rapidly, all thanks to the Stardust Dragon's outrageous scaling with this. Just look at those damage numbers. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that whip-wise, obviously the Kaleidoscope is your best bet with fantastic range and damage. However, don't forget to stack whips with tag effects like the Firecracker for even more damage. As you can see, this is more than easily taking us to the pillars, and the best part is, compared to other max class setups, this one requires the least direct input, making even the solar pillar an absolute breeze thanks to our minion. So what's all left is how it fares against the man himself, the Moonlord. From a pure damage output perspective, I found the Stardust Dragon extremely solid. However, getting it to target the correct position may require a bit more attention. It's really one of those fights I can imagine you doing even faster compared to the Zenith and Last Prism, if mastered with whip tags and timing. Nevertheless, in still very good time, the Moonlord is down. So there we have it, maximum summon damage in Terraria. Now we've looked at all 3, how do you think this setup compares to the other classes? And of course, if you haven't checked them out yet, they'll all be linked below. This has been sockrteez, and I'll see you in the next one.